her seizures stopped. We, and I, as a parent, I have felt like, you know, here so many, and we live in a town that is not the healthiest. And, you know, the typical American fare of hamburgers we make hamburgers, but I make like grass-fed hamburgers. But my kids don't go to McDonald's, and they never had a Happy Meal and that kind of stuff. And so I struggle with not giving, or I struggle with, you know, if you tell a kid you can't have sugar or you can't have something, then you also run the risk of giving it power. And so I've struggled with taking things out of her diet, because I didn't want that to become another issue where she's sneaking. And at first she was actually sneaking sugar when we were trying to take it out of her diet. And then she told me, because I got to a point where it was so bad, and she was having grand mal seizures, not even the lighter ones, just grand mal seizures every 12 days was about the average 2 summers ago. And I found out that she had been sneaking stuff when she was still in school, and it got bad over the summer. But that was the hardest part, was taking things out. And also just, I didn't want to be the mom that was always taking things out of her diet, but she had to buy into it that it was necessary. And now she won't touch it, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. We went to Disney in 2020, right before COVID hit, right as it was hitting, but before everything closed down. It was more in the state of Washington area. And her siblings are having, you know, treats at Disney, and was having a hard time with that. I've told her, I said, you are so young to have to go through this, but you are so strong to do this and to see that it makes a difference. And I said, to go overcome something like this now really sets you up, I think, for success later on, because other people who haven't gone through these tough times of seeing people, you know, not being able to do things that you want to do, and she has to go to bed at a good time, and because we're just trying to eliminate any trigger. I think later on, when she gets hit with difficulties in life, she'll remember, I've done this before, I can do it. But it has been hard as a family. So many teachers give sugar as treats and for behavior or whatever. And I found out that was still being done, not by her main teachers, but by some of her resource teachers. And that just really upset me. And then there was also some undue stress from administration on testing, because America loves testing kids, unfortunately. And that was a trigger for her as well, was that stress of school. And so I actually took her, that was her 3rd grade year, and I took her out of school her 4th grade year and homeschooled her, and said, I need to figure out what's going on with her, because she was having so many seizures, and I couldn't get school to do what I needed them to do, to not either stress her out or not give her sugar. And here she is, a little kid, and that temptation at the time was just too much for her. And so I took her out her 4th grade year. 5th grade year, she was all virtual last year, and next year she is going to go back to school, and she'll be a 6th grader. So I have a call in to her counselor to discuss her. She has a 504, so I was a special education teacher at one point, so I know a little bit about what can be done. And we created a 504 for her to be given extra time on work, so that way she wasn't stressed, to be allowed to go to the bathroom because of how much she needs to drink every day to not trigger. And also it's written in there to not give her sugar. So I hope they will follow it. But thankfully, Molly is much more mature and understands the value of not eating the sugar. And then I will send her with treats that she can have and give it to the teacher. So if the class is given a treat, then she has her own that she can have as well. There's challenges all around. I have family doesn't know really how to do anything to help her. They will acknowledge that there is an issue, but there's really no help there. But we also, with COVID and not being around them, I don't know how much they can do. But we do though have a friend who has been awesome. She's kind of an adopted grandparent to my kids, and she has taken my daughter kind of under her wing, and she will send her the bars that Molly can have, and she'll pick up. There's dang bars that Molly eats and has been fine with. So if you're looking for something, that has been good for us. Trader Joe's has a treat for her. They're called keto bites, and this friend will also pick those up for her. And we do the same thing for Molly, but it's really sweet that we have a friend that sometimes will drop off. She actually lives down the road, and she'll drop off a couple bags of keto bites on our front step, or order the dang bars and send them to our house for Molly. So we have a friend who's gone out of their way to make sure Molly gets a treat too, which is sweet. But typically people don't understand diet to begin with, and then Molly's is just too complicated for them. So they just don't go there, I guess. We have a EEG in August 12th, and the doctor said, which I was surprised very and pleasantly, that if it's clear, her last one did show that there was no seizures going on, but she had minimal abnormal activity. So huge difference from the 76% seizure activity to no seizure and a little bit of abnormal activity, or it's a minimal on the readout. But if this is clear, so nothing at all, shows a normal EEG, then the doctor said that we can move to getting her off the diet. And I don't know that I've ever seen that. I do not feel comfortable giving her sugar. I won't give her sugar, and she and I have talked about this, and I don't know what the doctor's plans are. I haven't gotten into the details of what that meant. But supposedly she can get off the diet in August if it's clear. But I will not give her, I know that we're not going to give her sugar, and she's game for that too, because she doesn't want to throw away the last year and a half almost. And then we will think about adding sugar if she's clear in March for the second one. Because I think the rule is they want to clear EEGs before they start taking them off medicine, and then it's 3 weeks of weaning her from medicine is what the doctor said. So I'm thinking she'll bring back carbs, but no sugar in August, and eat more normal, just no added sugars, and keep to the monk fruit and stevia for sweeteners. Seeing that there could be a light at the end of the tunnel, she started to buy candy that she wants. When we were on our trip, she bought some candy. She's like, I think these will keep if I can be off of this everything next year. So she's hoping that she'll be able to have treats that are with sugar one day. But the big thing I saw without the diet was that she would still have seizures. Your child is different from everyone else. They're unique. So what can be a trigger for one child could not be a trigger for another. So what works for Molly may not work for another kid, but it's worth a try, even if it's hard. If your child is having a hard time with seizures and the medicine is not working, really think about getting on a no sugar diet and keep the sugar alcohols out as well. It's hard, but there are ways to do it, and it's worth it. So yes, I would definitely recommend it. You feel so vulnerable. You just want it to go away. You want your child. I've seen my daughter go blue. We were watching a movie the other night, and none of us can watch. There was a man having a seizure or about to have a seizure, and we can't watch it. it brings me to tears. And there's movies that I've seen that like there's a Harry Potter movie, and I love Harry Potter, and Ron has a seizure, and before that didn't bother me so much, and now I can't watch it. It is a very vulnerable thing to see your child. You feel very vulnerable, and there are times I wondered if she was going to get out of it. You know, she had so many grandmas that as a parent, all I can do is make sure she's safe, but I've seen her turn blue, and I whispered in her ear to come back to us. So it's hard, and do whatever you can to help your kid.